Yes, I'm back, and right now I'm almost done reading this wonderful book that every Melanoid person of African descent needs to have in their book collection and read and really study this. Written by the brilliant brother, Dr. Claude Anderson. Now I'm in chapter I just finished chapter 7 and 8 today while I was on the corporation plantation earlier. And I highlighted some good points Brother Claude said in chapter 8. He said black leadership too often does not spring forth from systems of leadership training, but rather results from the call into community service by a higher power to resolve a particular dilemma. So basically what he's saying, the the people who the white supremacist media always deems as this is from a black leader. This is your leader. Anytime they appoint a leader to black society, he's either no matter it's not even either. He's a coon, number one, he or she, slash a government agent. So I'm talking about Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King's son, Jesse Lee Peterson. Who else is an agent? It's a D-Ray, that little moist Black Lives slash Gay Lives Matter boy. He's a government agent. Anytime they say this is the leader, especially at these black protesters after they slaughter us, after these racial slaughters, 9 times out of 10 he's a coon slash agent. Again, it says many blacks who are capable of leadership lack the tools of leadership access to organizational power, media, and money. Blacks who accept the mantle of leadership often fail to significantly change the conditions of Black America because they are reactive rather than proactive. It said they nor have they coordinated efforts between Black communities and organizations to move Black America towards self-sufficient and empowerment. So basically, what he's saying, like a lot of these quote unquote black leaders, all they do is keep us docile. They dissipate positive energy. We really about trying to get shit popping. Like, no, you gotta handle it not that way. You just gotta vote, or you just gotta keep marching and praying. That's all these quote unquote black leaders tell us to do. But they never spark any significant change or anything tangible, and they never get resources allocated to uplift our communities. It says black communities tend to seek out one leader or messiah at a time, most often such as an individual is the most visible person rather than the most able or committed. The lack of self-imposed standards for black leadership makes it easy for the white society to use its powers to anoint leaders within black communities. Unwittingly or not, this method protects the interests of white society and allows it to manipulate which black leader will be publicly acknowledged, respected, or rewarded. Institutional powers are used to discredit or remove aggressive black, also labeling them as radical or offensive. See, they liked Martin Luther King at first because he was. Let's just be honest. Martin Luther King, he was cooning at first. He was he was Master's favorite Negro because he was nonviolent. He believed in peace and that integration bullshit until he woke up before they assassinated him. And let's be clear, the real reason why they assassinated Martin Luther King, not because of integration and that goofy shit. They assassinated him because he was the first black person in America ever to have the power over public policy. He was the first and the last. He was about to shift capitalism in black America's favor, and the white supremacists weren't having that, so he had to die. So with Malcolm X. Now they hated Malcolm X because he was the quote unquote aggressive, radical, offensive Negro, which we all need to be on that type tip. Rest in power to both, but especially Malcolm X. But I continue. Black witness the steady decline in the quality of lives and extort that things have to get better. They borrow from the conservative white agenda and blame problems on symptoms and the victims rather than systematic causes. See, that's almost an everyday Negro, especially on my job. Bunch of coon ass Negroes there. Oh, you need to stop pointing the finger. It's us. We are worst enemies. We kill each other. It ain't white folk. It's our problem. Stop. You can't just blame white people for the problem. Even though systematic white supremacy, which white people allow to go on, is the fucking problem. And stop with that black on black crime bullshit. Because, like Brother Dick Gregory said, if we go to China right now, who's going to be killing Chinese people? Chinese people. If we go to Italy, who's going to be killing Italians? Italians. If we go to Russia, who's going to be killing Russians? European Russians. So crime is crime. It's not no black on black. It's not. It's not. It's just crime. Idiots. Continuing, blacks must establish a think tank with intellectual. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Blacks must establish a think tank with intellectual infrastructures that focuses exclusively on formulating national policy blueprints for the solution to the multitude of conditioning crippling Black America. See, that's what I've been talking about for months. We need to start having think tanks. Brother Claw also said it should be distinguished from other think tanks by the activism and the should flow from its research and focus on those issues that are common to all blacks, regardless of economic, social, or educational differences. And it says the new racism hides the dominant society indifference towards blacks by focusing on nation attention on non-issues such as sexism, minority parity, sexual preferences, privatization of public services, crime, abandonment, quotas, and affirmative action backlash. That is definitely true. I've been saying that for months. That matter of fact, now at least a year straight that sexism is gonna replace racism. And that started with the feminist group, which you black quote unquote feminists out there are so remedial for joining that goofy ass fight. And it says American society must have a radical redistribution of wealth and economic power to achieve a rough form from social justice. Until the wealth imbalances is I can't talk today. Until the wealth imbalance is significantly reduced, black-white racial stripes will continue to unabate. That is definitely true. Until we are stop being denied of wealth, and until we are compensated trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars were owed through chattel slavery and the prison industrial slavery complex, we're just going to keep having the same issues because that is our main issue, that we don't have any wealth. And that's because of our poor spending habits. That's not number one. Number one is because of white supremacy. But number two is also because of our poor spending habits. And it says, wealth produced by blacks fueled banking industrial revolutions, generated new forms of government economics, transformed massive amounts of wealth across racial, ethnic, and national boundaries, and fomented numerous civil wars. It says black labor essentially fed, clothed, and enriched nations all around the world. Blacks have remained producers but not possessors of wealth, even now as the world progresses towards the threshold of the 21st century. That's true. We don't know we know how to attain wealth, but we don't know how to sustain it and keep it in our communities to accumulate it and trickle down to generation after generation. Because that's another problem in our community. We think about the now. What can we do right now? How am I going to spend all this money on bullshit? Instead of investing it, getting business loans, maybe building a trust for your kids, maybe investing into some Google stocks or Nike shit. I'm about to invest in Nike shit. I don't buy that shit for real because it's all coonery, but there's always going to be coons who are going to fantasize and spend all their money on Jordan. So, shit, I might as well get money off this shit. Massa getting all the money. It says the government's preferential treatment programs and policies aggressively helped 16 generations of European whites to acquire free and cheap land, black labor, businesses, and employment opportunities and other forms of government. Without black slave labor to the New World, productive land would have had little value. The United States would not develop into an economic and military superpower. Discrimination policies within the banking industry, insurance, industrial, and mortgage companies have impeded black economics progress and the acquisition of wealth. In a sense, black heirs are likely to inherit permanent poverty and unpaid debt. Even in the largest category of black music, rhythm, blues, blacks receive revenues of less than 2% of the annual 55 billion gross. The teaching approach fails to discuss the circumstances of the story and the contributions that black have made as a group to this country and the world's economic development. The American government owes its black citizens for the Black Holocaust that lasted nearly 400 years and was a result of government policy, decree, and sanctions. This includes the premature deaths of millions of blacks, the expropriation of black labor, the psychological and social economic damage under slavery, Jim Crowism, and as the assessment of blacks to poverty underclass. White society in general, and government in particular, still owes blacks 40 acres and a mule that was explicitly promised by the U.S. Congress President Andrew Johnson and General William Sherman in 1865. I always wondered where that term came from. I mean, I knew where it came from before I read this, but that is still interesting. One more thing, because this video got way longer than I expected. I want to continue, but YouTube be on that funny shit. I definitely gonna have another part. It says, and it's time for blacks to make acquiring reparations from the American government a major national issue. Reparation payments should be direct into black communities and form an infrastructural like I said, I can't talk today. Improvement businesses and industry development loans, education grants, and stipends, and expanded public services to repair the social economic damages the dominant society and the government inflicted on 16 generations of black Americans. The immigrant fee should be charged to all new immigrants and channeled into an investment fund and mark of the economic revelations and industrial development of black ghettos. It is criminal and unfair for generation after generation of European, Asian, and Hispanic immigrants to be brought into this country, allowed to enjoy the benefits and historical that have been historically denied to blacks. That is true. Immigrants get to come over here, like the Arabs, the East Indians, the Chinese, the Hispanics. They get to shut up shop in our communities, and we don't get to set up shit. That's why I am in a total agreement of the 2017 hashtag Hold Your Own Nuts. When something happens to all these other groups, they want to run to black society and ask us to march with them. Nah, hold your own nuts. Y'all don't march with us when we want reparations and when we beg to stop being denied of wealth. Y'all don't march with us. So if something happens to you, like something just happened to a little Hispanic boy in California the other day, which was fucked up. I ain't agreeing with what that race soldier did to him. He almost killed him. But hold your own nuts. I'll pray. We shall overcome. But hold your own nuts. But let me know what y'all think. This video got longer than I wanted to. I try not to make them too long, but I haven't been giving y'all videos consistently because I've been trying to get stuff popping for me and my people. But definitely let me know what y'all think about this. Get in the comments, like, subscribe, share the video.